Hello, everyone. It is Isabella here, and welcome back to episode 6 of Angel Talk. So, I'm gonna be honest, I'm like absolutely blown away because I'm like the fact that I'm on a 6th episode of this, like time just goes by, right? But I'm really excited because I've literally just like, I've wanted to do something like this for so long, like just vocalize my healing journey, things that I've learned, and just have a more down to earth approach to living and growing because yeah, like we have way too many self-development videos or books or things that are like actually really toxic and have this unrealistic expectation on people, and it's exhausting. And I just think that there's ways to improve without draining yourself and actually hurting yourself in the process. So anyways, sorry, that was a little rant, but today's episode, very quick and last minute. I'm not even kidding. It's like 11 right now in the morning, and I was working and uploading some content on Instagram and YouTube, and I was like, oh my God, like I got inspired. I got inspired by something I shared, and I was like, this needs to be an episode on Angel Talk. So I posted up a reel that says, romanticize your life and the little things. And I was like, oh my God, we have got to talk about this because there's so much that I can say about romanticizing your life. Now, again, big preface. There are good and bad aspects to many trends, okay? So my goal with this is to have realistic expectations. Again, not everything is going to work for you, and that is totally okay because I don't know your situation. But my goal is to have little reminders throughout this video and just to maybe give you a perspective that maybe you never thought about that might make your day or your week or your month or your life a little bit better or more fun. Because I think that's something I've tried to focus on is how do I make mundane shit or little aspects of my life just more fun or more relaxing or more healthy for me. And with the romanticizing your life thing, it could be too much. And then there's also aspects that could be really beautiful. And so that's something I've been navigating is I've been trying to find out how to romanticize my life and how to make it healthy. And with that, I've been learning so many new habits that I'm so excited about. And I want to tell you all about them because like they're literally awesome. So let's talk about what romanticizing your life is. For me, the concept of romanticizing your life is honestly treating yourself like you're dating you. And I know that might sound really weird, but I think it's one, brilliant. But I think two, we need to be having this perspective more because romantic, we think of the movies where it's loving, it's sweet, that really, really like amazing, happy feeling that we get when we watch like one of those really fucking awesome romance movies. Like, okay, a lot of the movie, The Notebook, if you guys have seen, not exactly completely my favorite, but the beginning, I think, with that like really sweet, caring love, I think is adorable. Or with the movie Titanic, again, devastating story. But the warm fuzzies you get when you see just how passionate and beautiful that Jack and Rose are together with getting to know each other, with doing things, with protecting each other. I think it's stunning. And there's so many different examples of that, right? But like we can connect with the idea of, oh, that really sweet romantic feeling. And I think so many of us crave that from other people. And I think we forget that we can literally get that from ourselves. Like we genuinely can get that from ourselves by romanticizing our lives and being romantic with ourselves. And so there's many ways to do this. There's not a one size fits all. So please don't feel like you have to do things a certain way. But I want to talk about it and maybe give a little inspiration. So with romanticizing your life, with my healing journey, my growing, I'm not done growing, but my healing journey, there we go. I realized that there was a lot of things I did not know or wasn't doing with myself. For example, I was fucking mean to myself. I was so mean to certain things with my routine. I felt were really mundane and just ugh. Like I just dreaded doing certain things because they were so fucking basic. Or like just in general, like I didn't do nice things for myself at all. I was just going through the motions. Now, Again, I'm just kind of sharing my personal experience. Again, like I know not everyone can do all these things, but I started noticing that there's a lot that I could do which would fall into what I like to call dating myself. So I kind of like to treat how I am with me as like dating someone and being really, really into them is you want to treat them with love and respect and show them that you appreciate them. And I think I realized that my goal with romanticizing my life was to literally treat myself as if I was looking at somebody that I was just madly in love with and into. Because I think if anyone's ever been in love with someone, like you have this insane urge to make them feel loved and appreciated and supported. Like you do all these little things. Like, I mean, you guys even know like the honeymoon stage of relationships where, yeah, like there's extra little gifts or there's more notes lying around. Like you go out of your way to show love, appreciation. Or, I mean, a lot of people, especially in healthy relationships, if there's something wrong, like you take the time to validate somebody's emotions or your partner's emotions. You listen, you support them. Like you go out of your way to do the best that you can for that person. And we don't do that enough for ourselves. And again, I'm at fault with this because I have been for so long neglecting myself and how I love me. And it's fucking devastating. And that's not to say that you can't fix it because of course you can grow and change. But it's sad realizing that some of the love that we crave or what we want to give to other people, we don't fucking give to ourselves at all. And that was something I realized is I was giving so much of that love to other people. I didn't give any of that to me. And so that was when I was like, yeah, we're going to start romanticizing our life. And we are going to make the mundane shit feel sparkly. And we are going to treat ourselves like we are dating ourselves. Because at the end of the day, I realized one, I was not giving myself love or treating myself like I should be. Two, yeah, mundane shit in my routine was so boring and basic. And I felt like I could make it more fun. And then three, I just feel like I could get to know myself better, which funny enough, I know some people are like, how the fuck do you get to know yourself better? Trust me, you can. I literally realized that there were certain things that I didn't even like actually know about me or was aware about myself. Like I'm not even kidding y'all. I started writing down notes when I'd be like, oh, that's something I like. Oh, that's something I do. Because I was like, I'm learning about me because I'm so used to me. I'm trying to understand how I function and work. So let's talk about the dating yourself parts and what I think we should be doing about that. So, dating yourself. Again, I think, we know with first dates, and that's so exciting and that's super fun. And I wanted to recreate that stuff with me. So I would follow the same ritual that I would on a first date, but I would take myself out instead. You guys know, like the whole, oh my God, what am I gonna wear? What like perfume am I gonna put on? Where are we going? All of that. And I would just follow this routine because I wanted to take myself out on a date. So I would get dressed up. I would pick out a really special perfume. I would do all these nice things. I would even again, go through the full self-care routine, which like for me, that's like exfoliating, shaving. Like I would go the full 9 yards, as they say. And then I would take myself out on a date. And I would focus on what the hell do I want? So the self-dating thing has been an absolute game changer for me because I would take myself out to do what I wanted. And I would make it such a special ritual that it was literally something I love doing and I look forward to all the time because I make it out to be perfectly fun for just me. Because instead of doing it for like, oh my God, what if I meet someone? I'm taking the person that I can be with and love for the rest of my life. That's important. Because at the end of the day, you are with you forever. You are stuck with you forever. You listen to you forever. And it's so important that will never change. You will always be there for you. So might as well make sure that relationship is strong as shit and has a good foundation. And you feel so good with yourself because no matter who comes in and out of your life, you are there for you. And prioritizing that relationship will make you stronger and healthier and feel so much better. And again, I realized that how important that was. So that's why the self-date stuff, I was like, I need to do that because I need to know that I'm going to do that for me. I'm going to take care of me. And I'm going to do it because I fucking deserve it, which you do. If you're listening, you fucking deserve those self-dates. You deserve to love and appreciate yourself. It's very hard, but you do. So that's exactly what I did. I would go out to like my favorite restaurant. I would get the food that I wanted. I would do those things because I was like, that's so nice. Or I'd go to like a vineyard. I would get like a glass of wine. I'd read a book. Love it. It was just my own special routine. It was so nice. And again, I would like to say, I know not everyone has the financial means to take yourself out on dates, or finding maybe a ritual of something that's just for you, or something maybe you would do if you go out on a date, I think is really cool. And it all depends on what you like, what you want. But the concept of taking yourself out on a date is what I'm getting at here. Now, continuing on, I think making some of the mundane things in life more exceptional and fun, I think also is a small way of romanticizing your life, but making things nicer to yourself. So what I mean by that is I have my coffee maker right next to me, okay? And coffee is an everyday routine for me. I have coffee all of the time. That's my first thing pretty much when I do in the morning, besides taking Lila outside. And it became so mundane because I would just throw the shit together, right? Because I'm like, ugh, whatever. And I would just get done with. And then I started realizing like, that's something I love. I'm going to make it a fun experience. Now, again, that sounds cheesy. I know, but I was like, no. Give the same vibe that you get when you go into a coffee shop and you see them layering everything and it looks really cool. So I started doing that, where I would go out of my way to maybe, if I got to go somewhere, wake up a little bit earlier so I have an extra couple minutes to make my coffee really, really nice and special for me. Like, do the full experience, right? So I have a pretty coffee, because I like the pretty coffees, with the layering, like that shit's, I eat it up. But then also, like, I would go out of my way to make sure it would taste really, really good. Because again, like when you get into such a quick routine, you just throw shit together and like maybe you didn't put enough flavor syrup or whatever the case may be. And then it's not like A1, but it works because it wakes you up. And I was like, no, I'm going to make it nice. Or another routine that I have is, and again, like this is selective. Like I don't do this all the time, but I have the routine in the back of my mind when I need it. So sometimes after work, I feel really tired, or like I can just feel the tension and like anxiety and stress in my shoulders. And I have a little bit of this mini routine that I whip out whenever I need, where I will do a relaxing like stretch, and then I will get into a really, really nice bath. So again, like some people might not vibe with this, but for me, I was like, oh, I'm going to make this into a really nice special ritual. So I'll lay out my yoga mat. I will do all these stretches and I will kind of like relax, and it feels so good. Oh my God. You don't have to know what the fuck you're doing. Just if you can stretch a little bit, it makes you feel so much better. It really does. But anyways, I'll stretch and then I will run a bath. So I will warm up my towels. I'll throw those fuckers in the dryer and get them warm, I'll put them in the dryer. I'll get some lavender essential oils and I'll spray them on the towels because it smells really good. I have a shea butter and almond bath salt soak. It's so good. It's by Dr. Teal's and it smells really good and it's really cheap too. But I do that. I get my candles, also my battery operated candles, so that way they don't light anything on fire. I will lay out my PJs for that night, and if anything, I'll stick them in the dryer too, so that way by the time I get out, pull them out of the dryer and they're warm. And then I get in the bath and I have my hair up and I soak in there and I turn on something that I want to listen to, whether it's like a meditation, whether that's like my favorite tarot card reader, but I just make it into this full on relaxing ritual because it's like me doing how do I call this? It's like me saying, you did a good job today. Let's relax. And I think that's so nice to do because again, like for me, if I had a partner that was like really tired and was like, oh my God, I had a long day, but like, oh my God, yep, I'll run a bath for you. I'll make you some tea. Like that's something that you would do, or you would just do something really nice for your partner that needed it. So it only makes sense for you to do that stuff for you too. And again, it's easier said than done, but I'm trying to give you a little reminder, Another thing that I think is awesome and something I started doing is I bought off of Amazon these really pretty aesthetically pleasing sticky notes. Like they're like beige and shit. Like I didn't want like neon pink, so I was like, I want to get pretty beige ones. So I bought some beige sticky notes because I'm going to start doing this thing. Again, what I used to do when I was dating is I would send these really sweet good morning texts, or I would send these texts throughout the day to a partner. And I've always known myself for being that way, where I would pretty much send words that would be encouraging or comforting or whatever the case may be. Just reminding that person that I loved them and that I appreciated them, that I hope they were having a good day and how I was proud of them. Like all of these things that I knew that I wanted to hear, but I wasn't necessarily getting. And now with me being single, I'm like, wait a damn minute. I could do that for myself. The fuck? Like I should be doing that. So I have the sticky notes and I'm going to start writing something before I go to bed, put it on the mirror, and then when I wake up to go to the bathroom, I see that sticky note every single day on my mirror. And I'll swap them out. I'll put new things in there. But I think I need to do that more with talking to myself nice, because I don't send reminders like that at all to myself. I never have. But and it sounds kind of cheesy. And it doesn't sound like it'll make crazy impact on me now. But again, I didn't think that taking myself on a date would have impact. I didn't think writing down things that I learned about myself would have an impact. But it has. So I'm pretty much trying to do that. Another thing that I really want to talk about that I feel like is a part of romanticizing your life and doing those sweet things for yourself is how we talk to ourselves. So something that I've been practicing is, again, when I talked about how when you have someone that you really care for, like you say really, really sweet things to them. And if you catch a partner or something, like talking down on themselves, what do? We immediately are like, no, oh my God, no. Like if they're like, oh my God, I'm ugly, what do you say? No, you're not. You look absolutely incredible. I love you. Something like that, right? Or, what else would be like another example of this? Like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot. There you go. You jump in and be like, no, you are not an idiot. No. And again, like if somebody would be like, oh my God, I'm an idiot because they didn't understand something quickly, you'd be like, you didn't understand it. That's okay. Like things happen. But we don't do that for ourselves most of the time. And again, I am at fault for this. I have done this too much and I still will do this. And I'm trying to break habits and it's hard, but we're so mean to ourselves sometimes and we don't even realize it because it's so ingrained in our minds. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna start really working on this because those are some of my go-to phrases. I would literally, if I didn't understand something, if I didn't pick it up quickly enough, whatever the case may be, I would literally out loud, again, no one's in my house, I don't live with anyone, but I would out loud be like, you fucking idiot. And I would just say that to myself all the time. And that sounds so mean, but I would. And I all the time. Or like, what the fuck is your problem? Like I would say that to myself. Or I would look in the mirror and be like, God, you look fucking awful today. It's so horrible, but I would do that all the time. And sometimes I'll do it. And I'm trying really hard to unbreak it. But I decided, I was like, okay, whenever I do that, I need to catch myself. I need to catch myself and be like, no, we're not doing that. So instead, after I say that, I immediately stop and I say what I should be saying to myself. So instead of saying, God, you look fucking awful today, I instead say, no. I'll be like, you look good. Maybe you're just tired right now. Or, no, you are beautiful. Who told you that you aren't? Society did. You are beautiful, I promise. And it's hard, but it forces you to stop and contradict that really shitty thing you just said to yourself. Or again, I would go on and be like, oh, you're such a fucking idiot because I just simply didn't understand something. And I have to sit there and be like, no. You just took a little longer to figure out. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. But practicing that with how you talk to yourself, I think is another way of being like romantic and loving to you and your life, because you're starting to counter the really mean things that you say to yourself and you start trying to be nicer. And again, I think all of this stuff that we apply in dating with correcting our partners when they are really mean to themselves, or going out of your way to send encouraging letters or like messages, or doing nice things for them, maybe planning a date. Like we do all these things for other people. And I think we need to romanticize our lives even more, where we're kinder to ourselves. And I think many of us are so wrapped up in giving love that we forget that, again, we are somebody that needs that love too. And again, I'm at fault for this, and this is so hard to unlearn, just so we all know. This is hard to unlearn. And I'm sure there are people that are listening to this that like they can't mentally picture being nice to themselves or being loving to themselves or loving themselves in general. And I just want to let you know, like, Absolutely. I literally, again, used to fucking hate myself. I used to think I was not pretty, I was not good enough, I was not smart enough, and I never would be. And again, I think that's the words of other people that hurt me, along with what society has put on us. Because let's be real here, society has put a very unrealistic expectation on all of us to where we cannot hit those goals. Society has been fucking pushing us down all the time, made us not feel good enough, glorified certain body types or certain, it's ridiculous, right? We will never hit those levels that society has put on us. But it is hard to untrain our minds to stop thinking that way. Or it's really hard to untrain our minds to stop remembering what those old people used to talk about us or say about us. It hurts. And I think that's the biggest way that I have been really unconditioning myself from believing those things or doing those things or hating myself so fucking much, is trying to look at myself as like a separate person. I know that sounds really weird, but looking myself as a separate person. I actually try and look at myself like how I'm treating myself as like a child. So, and this is again another thing I'm doing soon. I'm actually going to be getting a printout photo of myself when I was a kid, like 3, 5 maybe. And I'm going to look at that and I want to remind myself like, I don't want to get emotional with this, but like, I want to look at that photo every day and I want to be like, you are talking to that child. Like, that's you still. And when I say things that are mean, like, oh, you're a fucking idiot, I'm talking to that kid, you know? Fuck, I didn't expect myself to get emotional with this. Wow. But like, that's the thing, is so many of us forget that, like, that we are talking to that younger version of us. And I try and mentally separate that a little bit so that way I'm like, oh, I'm talking to a kid here. I'm talking to someone who's been through a lot and who's trying to heal from society's shit or childhood traumas. And I think the romanticizing your life aspect is not just, you know, making a special coffee or being really extra, but it's so much deeper than that. It's treating yourself in such a loving, deep way that it fulfills all the things that you needed for so long, and it makes you love and appreciate yourself more. And with that, yeah, I've been trying to remind myself that, like, hey, when you're mean to yourself, you're also mean to the 5-year-old version of you, the 10-year-old, the 12-year-old, the one that needed support the most. Like, you've come so far and you should be loving to yourself. Like, yeah, imagine taking yourself out on a fun little dinner date for you. Like, you're taking your 5-year-old self out. She would have loved this shit, right? And I think if we try and mentally connect that we are taking care of so many older versions of ourselves, and we deserve it. We fucking deserve it. We are being loving and we are healing ourselves and we are being nicer. We are doing things that we deserve. We are taking the time because we deserve the time. We deserve time being put into us, effort being put into us. Just like we would want someone to put effort and time into us for dating wise, we deserve that from ourselves. I think it's really, it's beautiful because it starts cultivating a really nice, healthy relationship. Now, again, it's hard. It is very hard to romanticize your life or not sit here, when you're like trying to take the time, be like, this is fucking stupid. But working on that starts making things easier because I started catching myself way faster or not even say it at all when I would be mean to me. Or again, I make it a weekly ritual. Not weekly, monthly, my bad. A monthly ritual where I have to have a dedicated day to doing things that I want to do and taking care of me and completely whatever that is. Yeah, like, and usually that's like going out to get food, grabbing like a really fun little like treat, like going to Marshall's or something, hell if I know, but Target, I don't care. Just doing something really special just for me. It's been game changing. Or taking the time out of my routine to make something really special, like my coffee more nice and fun. Romanticizing your life, I know, is a bit of a trend, but I truly think it's something that has inspired me. I've been wanting to talk about it more, to treat yourself how you should have always been treated and start cultivating that healthy relationship now and being loving and romantic in that aspect to yourself. And it's absolutely changed my life, I'm going to tell you. I literally soak it all up and I love how I'm being so much nicer to myself and I do more things for myself. And I'm thinking, I need to get a little picture of me from when I was younger because it reminds me more of, hi, be nicer to yourself because that's the younger you. Or, okay, I'm getting sticky notes because I want to have sweet little reminders for myself every day to be like, hey, you are doing good. You are doing good enough. And I think the more that we practice that, again, we create habits, the easier it becomes. And it's not as hard as it was before because, again, I'm telling you right now, it is not as hard to be nice to myself as it was a year ago. It was very hard to be nice to myself. It was very hard to not look in the mirror and absolutely fucking pick apart every inch of me. It's difficult, but little practices and little changes and reminding ourselves that we deserve beautiful love from ourselves is going to help you get there. It's, again, it's hard, but it is so worth it. And I think that is what I believe the romanticizing your world and your life means and should mean, is finding ways to treat yourself better, love yourself better, and give yourself the love that you deserve. And then at the end of the day, it trains your mind to depend on you in a good way. It makes you realize that you can get those flowers. For example, you can buy yourself flowers. You can get those dates. You can get all these really wonderful things just for you. And then you feel more whole, you feel more happy with you feel more confident, you feel beautiful, you feel more safe with yourself, and you enjoy your own presence. And it's so nice to have. And I wanted to, take this time to use it as a moment of reminding yourself that these are little things that you could do to romanticize your life and make yourself feel good, And again, last reminder, do not put too much pressure on yourself because, again, that is what pushes people away from doing this. This is a hard journey. You are doing good enough. It's difficult. Little things here and there. Little steps are steps. You don't need to have big steps to make progress. Little steps are steps, okay? Don't forget that. So don't put pressure on yourself. Don't feel like you have to make a fucking map about how to love yourself more. Just do little things that are nice to yourself. And a little does go a long way. So that was it for today's episode. I'm like, I feel emotional from that one. I know that was a lot, but I just want to get on here as a little reminder. Romanticizing your life can be so fucking fun, so helpful, and a beautiful thing that can guide you in loving yourself more and treating yourself with a little bit more kindness. So that was it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button or follow the podcast. Maybe drop a rating for the podcast. That would be absolutely amazing. But I love you guys so much. Thank you all for being here. You are doing just enough. Don't worry. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Stay glowing, my beautiful queens. Love you. Bye.